Right, folks, welcome back to Bru Time. I think this is episode 48, and we've got Vanessa's come back. Vanessa Ruck, the girl on a bike. How you doing?
Yay! Hey, number 48. Amazing.
I think so, yeah.
That's cool. Big numbers.
I know, it's nuts, isn't it? It's just over a year since I started it, so yeah, it's going all right. I've had a few weeks off in various places, but yeah, it seems to be going well. So, what is happening with yourself? Obviously, we had a little chat there before we started. You are moving house at the moment. How's that all going?
I am. So a lot of people might have seen our dream garage we had at the old house. So it has been a little bit emotional leaving that house, but it was time. We are currently in temporary accommodation and we are in the process of buying the new place, and it's just taking ages, but it will happen. And I promise you the new place will have a new version of the dream garage. And I can't wait because at the moment we're kind of trying to do bike work out of the back of the trailer, and it's less than ideal, but
yeah, that last garage was something else, wasn't it? You had all the kit in there. Wow.
Most of that kit's in storage now, so I'm definitely feeling a little bit handicapped.
Yeah. What colour scheme are you going for in the new one? Is that going to be red as well to fit with the Teng Tool stuff?
It's definitely going to be red. Teng Tools vibe. I just love their tools, and I love red. So red vibes. Yeah, love it.
So what is going to be happening with yourself then? Obviously things are starting to free up now, sort of post-COVID apocalypse, and it looks like we've got a freedom on the horizon. So what's your plans? What's going on?
It's definitely on the horizon, but the horizon seems to be shifting so much that at the moment I'm really not committing to too much, because I think, like recovery, expectation management is kind of important to keep spirits high. So trying to do things spur of the moment. So actually when we finish on this call, hubby and I are going to go out on the Africa Twins for a couple of hours on the green lanes and just get a little bit of mud on us.
Nice.
And just take things as they come. Some of the hard enduro races are starting to look like they're going to be happening from May. So I'm also trying to get myself fit enough to not die in the first race.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I was out with Martin Yoxall. He's the chap that lost his leg in a bike accident. He was on the podcast fairly recently. Well, I went out for a ride with him and his Mrs. Josie on, I think it was Tuesday, and that's the first sort of social ride I've done in, I think since I went to the Canaries in beginning of December, and it is crazy how not even being off-road, because obviously being off-road it's a physical fitness as well, isn't it? But just for on the road, just trying to get your mind and your eyes and your brain back up to speed for riding a bike. I'm glad I didn't vlog it, because I think I probably would have crashed trying to talk and film as well as just ride a bike. Yeah, it's crazy. So much traffic here.
I think it's what was crazy for me the first sort of few times I've been out is that I'm not used to being on the road anymore, and even the speed. Yeah. I don't know. It was just a couple of days ago. We were out and we were in the car. My husband was driving, and I was like, "How fast are we going? Are we gonna get like there's a speed camera coming up?" And my husband was like, "We're going 50," and it felt like we were going about 70. That's that classic wife in the car seat. I'm not normally like that, just to clarify, but I've been so used to being in the house in the four walls that actually getting back out on the bike, I think it's so important for all of us as bikers to just consciously be a little bit more aware that we're not as naturally used to it. Our reflexes aren't going to be quite the same. Our 100%. Handling of the bike might not be a second nature. So being alert, I think, is going to be really important.
Yeah, you do notice it, don't you? And God, there were so many bikers out on Tuesday. I just thought, I wonder how many people are getting picked up off the road today. So down in the southeast, there's traffic everywhere, literally everywhere we went. Back roads, main roads, B roads, A roads. It's just traffic everywhere. It was almost like soul destroying. No, just get me somewhere else. I wanted to head north, but can't do it at the moment.
Come ahead to Wales.
Oh, I can't wait. The trouble is, though, is that as soon as we're allowed to, everyone's going to Wales, everyone's going to Scotland, aren't they? So I think I might head up.
That's true.
I might head up the lakes.
We want to do the NZ 500 at some point, and we're thinking, well, hang on, international travel is not really possible this year. Why don't we try and do it? And then I'm thinking, hang on a minute, the whole country is thinking, why don't we go and do that? So it's probably not the best year, because I can imagine it just being like a traffic jam.
Yeah, and it is. I don't know if you've ever done it, but once you get sort of north of Fort William really and start heading up the northwest and across the north, that part, it's single track roads, and it's beautiful, it's stunning. But once you get a camper van on there, you got to wait for the passing bays. Yeah, and it's literally going to be like the M25 up there, isn't it? But you're still out your house, aren't you? So maybe just put grin and bear it and do it.
Yeah.
Right, shall we? Well, first off, because this is 1 o'clock in the afternoon, folks, so probably a little bit early to crack open the booze. I don't know. What are you doing? I have a coffee. Yeah.
I've gone wild with my water. I could have pretended it was vodka, but it's probably a bit of an extreme volume to get away with.
Yeah, good effort if that's all vodka. Wow. So, Slange. And how about we crack on with some questions? There are loads of questions. You're a popular guest, Vanessa.
Oh, thank you.
We will head over to Patreon first, as always, patreon.com/TeapotOne. First one we have here is, no usernames left. It's my birthday today, April the 1st. Could you both in your best... sorry about this. Could you both in your best singing voices sing happy birthday to me, please?
Name?
Well, this is no username left. No usernames left. We'll do one chorus for you. How about that? Just one verse. Is that all right? Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're worried about.
Singing.
I'm like a blooming constipated rhino when I start singing. Right, so 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. No username left. Happy birthday to you. Right. Donate something to charity of your choice for that. Thanks very much. Right, cheers for that. Thank you very much, Vanessa. Next one, Brian McManus. Right, let's see what he's going to say this week. Hi to all. Great to see you back, Vanessa. A question for Vanessa, please. What is the most amazing thing you've seen or experienced in Iceland? My plan is to get there next year. Oh, he's got a second question, but we'll cover the first one first. So, best thing you've seen in Iceland. That series is phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you. That really was an incredible trip. So anyone not familiar, there's 5 Iceland videos on my YouTube channel about off-roading, Husqvarna 71s in Iceland, the land of full-on extremes. The most incredible thing, I actually think the moment that we pulled up to the spa, so we were in the middle of nowhere. In the morning, the Vikings said, right, Vanessa, pack your bikini today. And I'm just like,
oh yeah,
okay, bikini pack. And we're riding along, and I'm thinking, we must be like going to civilization at some point. Like, where am I going to get my bikini out? And we just see this white picket fence. Like, we're in the middle of the mountains and the wilderness in Iceland, a white picket fence and a row of bushes. And the head Viking guy pulls through this gap, weaves through the hedge, and there is just this turquoise steaming pool. A disused, abandoned swimming pool that used to be for the quarry workers or something in some kind of construction that was there. And it's fed by a wild spring, so it's got a constant flow, and it was boiling hot. Every single ache in the body just soothed away once we managed to get into it, because it was that hot. Yeah. And I think that was really one of the highlights. The other thing was every corner was just a wow. It's very hard to pinpoint one in Iceland. It's an incredible country.
Stunning, isn't it? It's very raw and rugged, but you kind of look at it and think, please don't ever change. Don't ever lose this. Stunning place. They've just had a volcano erupt, haven't they? Has it been
not far from Reykjavik either.
Oh, is it? Bloody hell.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, we went there 2013 when I got back after Africa. We went to Iceland. I was going to pop the question there because my wife had never seen the Northern Lights, so I thought, right, it was February, so Valentine's took it to Iceland, and the night that we were supposed to go out and go and see the Northern Lights, the fog came in. Literally, it was a beautiful day. And then at 5 o'clock, this wall of fog came in from nowhere. And that was that. I couldn't see any lights. So I took it as an omen and decided, right, I'm not going to pop the question now. I'll wait. And literally about a month later, I was off again on my trip. But my father-in-law, I'd asked him, obviously, before I was going to ask Nikki. And he must have been thinking to himself, oh, he's changed his mind.
Yeah, he must have thought you bottled it.
I know, yeah. But we got it done eventually. We got it done. Brian's second question to both. Is it as weird for you guys when meeting a fan follower? Because when I meet Bruce, I feel I know him, but from Bruce's view, he knows bugger all about me. As your life stories are for our viewing. Thanks to you both for the great content you guys put up for our enjoyment. Yeah, how do you find that? How do you deal with that then?
I absolutely love it when people come and say hello, and
me too.
Some people find it really scary, and they'll message me afterwards being like, I just saw you, but I got scared and I didn't say hi. And I'm like, no, always say hi. I love meeting people. But if you do say hi, don't just go, oh, I'm Bob at XYZ on Instagram. I'm going to, no, because I'm really sorry. I don't know every single username. But I want to meet you and say hi. And I really love the energy of people recognizing me. But I'm really sorry that I won't know you as well as you know me.
Yeah, that is weird, isn't it? Is that but I find when people come up and give me their name, I'm like, oh, it's really nice to meet you. And then I'm like, what name do you use on social media? I'm the opposite to you. I'm like, tell me what tag name you use. And then, right, okay, I recognise you. Yeah. Yeah,
some of them you'll recognise, but there are so many that sometimes it can be really hard.
Well, I mean, I'm not in your realms Facebook's big, but everything else is not in your realms. Geesh. What's your Instagram at now?
82. So I think it's about 170 in total. Yeah.
Wow, 80,000. That's nuts.
Pretty incredible. I still kind of have to do this little pinch myself that so many people care about my random little shenanigans. But I really hope that my energy is helping other people with the battles that life throw, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, that seems to be having a look on on Instagram. You get all your notifications coming in. I don't pre-read the questions, but on Instagram, obviously, I get notifications of comments that are coming in. And certainly, once we get to them, the overwhelming thing from people, the feedback from people, is that you do provide a lot of positivity towards people. So, that can only be a great thing, especially at the moment. Right, cheers, Brian. Thank you very much for that question, pal. We will move on. Dave Watrit. Welcome back, Vanessa. Thank you for my collagen addiction. Yes, I still use it. Question for both of you. What are your biking goals for this year as things get back to some normality? Mine is just to get out there more often. Oof. So, biking goals.
Biking goals. To be a better version of myself by the end of the year, i.e. be a better rider. I supposedly am doing Red Bull Romaniacs in July, and I think last time we spoke I was meant to be doing Red Bull Romaniacs, but didn't happen with COVID. We'll see whether it happens this year. At the moment they're hoping it still goes ahead, but I want to focus on my skills and get better in the off-road riding, go over bigger logs, up bigger hills, fall off less, explode less painfully, all that kind of stuff. Just want to get better at riding.
Is there anywhere in particular you would like to go? If there were no restrictions or anything like that, is there anywhere that you would love to go this year?
Gosh. Probably be places like Arizona or Utah out in the States for some hard enduro. So there's some really incredible looking riding out there. I'd probably go with that. We do actually have a wedding that we're meant to be going to in October out there. We'll see. If the wedding goes ahead, maybe I can throw in some off-road riding kit. We'll see. That's probably one I'd really like to do. I'd happily go back to Sardinia with what was it, Tour Enduro Sardinia. That was wild hard enduro riding. I just want to hit really ridiculous terrain. It's really strange. I've just got this little switch in my brain.
You're a freak. Give me tarmac. Flat, glorious tarmac.
Oh my God, I got the giggles.
I've got to say, I did enjoy when I was down with Toro Adventure, southern Spain, when I went out with Adrian on the GSs and we did like just track, nothing. None of that boulder jumping rubbish, maniac stuff that you do. But just down the tracks, I actually started to think, I quite enjoy this. And I do see the attraction. I'm just shit at it. But so I think if I did it more, I could definitely see me start to enjoy it. I took, what was it, the Sinis Terrain 380? I took that down some really muddy lanes with Paul from... Riding from Reality. He took me down these really, really muddy backcountry lanes, and I did actually enjoy that. I did start to enjoy it, but it's well out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, I can imagine you probably enjoying it more being on like an Africa Twin, Tenere, GS kind of bike versus the little enduro bikes. Not saying you're huge, but you are quite big.
That was the main thing.
You're tall and you got long legs, and so on the smaller enduro bikes, I can imagine like once you're standing up, you feel a little bit more overwhelmed on the bike.
Yeah, when I was
Do I
out
need
with...
a ladder?
No, don't worry about that. Good. No, I've got a thick skin. Don't worry. When I was out, when you were there, down at Toro Trail, and we went out on those little huskies, those, what were they, 300cc or 350cc. I just felt, I felt like the bike was in control of me because I couldn't balance on the thing. I just felt like that massive gorilla perched on a little bike, like I should have had some cymbals. That's what I felt like. Whereas once I got onto the GSs, it was like, oh, okay, I feel at home on this. I feel like I can make this bike do what I want it to do. Whereas on the little husky, hated it. Absolutely hated it.
Have you ever tried a trials bike?
No, never.
Okay. Everybody watching this, in the comments, who is up for Bruce and me going to somewhere like Inch Perfect Trials for a day on trials bikes?
What have you done to me? What have you just done to me?
Let the viewers decide if this is going to happen.
Oh God, the things this bloody podcast has got me in. I'm now doing a pillion lap with Dom Herbertson around the TT. I'm doing a pillion lap with Chrissy Rouse around the BSB circuit, and now you're going to have me doing trials biking. Thanks.
Wow. Oh my God, can I go pillion too? I could just go right on the back like a little monkey.
I'm sure they would welcome it. I'm sure they would welcome you to be a pillion.
That would be amazing. Wow.
Are you coming to TT next year?
I hadn't at the moment even thought about it.
Have you not? Oh God, I can't wait. Well, it's just been confirmed. They've just released the dates for it, so it's definitely at the moment. God forbid, another round of this blooming COVID. But at the moment, it's definitely on for 2022. So I'm there. I will be there. Great fun. Right, sorry, did I answer that question? What are your biking goals for this year? For me, Dave, I'm the same as you, pal. I just want to get back out on a bike. I just want to get out riding. I've got this last lockdown, so since sort of December onwards, I've just been like a caged bear. I really didn't mind last year. Last year was just, it didn't bother me. But this last one, I need to hit the road, even if it's for a long weekend. Just hit the road, tent, go in and just get away. So for me, that's all I want to do, Dave, is just ride again somewhere and go anywhere. Next one, David Bacalts. Vanessa recently did a Zoom talk for my local IAM group in Coventry, which I unfortunately missed because I was working. And I just wanted to say thank you for putting back into the community. Everyone was full of praise for you in our Facebook group afterwards. Oh, nice one. Have you done many of them then?
I'm sorry you missed it. Yeah, I've done about 30 in the last 6 weeks, which has been pretty overwhelming.
Blimey.
I'm doing them. Yeah, I had one day where I did 3 in a day. That was a little bit much. I think I actually was like by the end of it. But I just feel really honored to be able to share my story and what I typically present is some of the learnings that I've had from my accident through my recovery. So I've had 7 surgeries over 7 years, 2 reconstructed body parts, and I've definitely learned a lot through that. So if I can help one person every time I share my story, it kind of makes what I've gone through just feel a little bit more worthwhile.
Yeah, definitely. So, it's quite humbling, isn't it? When someone contacts you and tells you what impact, whatever it is that you've done has had on them. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Sorry, interrupted.
No, that was just that's really lovely. Was it David, did you say?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, David Bacaltz.
Thank you. That's really kind of you to message and give me that feedback. I'm sorry you missed it, but hopefully I'll catch you some other time.
Next one, Joe Hicks. Just as well you're recording after 1 p.m, Bruce. Otherwise, this could have been an April Fool's joke. Why is that? I don't get that. Do you get that? Just as well you're recording after 1 p.m.
Because at 12, isn't it 12 you're not allowed to do jokes anymore? And it is April Fool's Day.
All right.
And maybe it was a joke that you were going to be speaking to me. Don't know.
It's a shit joke, Joe. It's a shit joke. And he also says, welcome back, Vanessa. You're ace last time around. Next one, Pete English. Hi guys, hope you're both fit and well, and congratulations on how well the podcasts are going, Bruce. It's making it harder and harder to come up with these very important, life-questioning, challenging and original questions. Cheers, Pete. You're part of the podcast, pal. I tell you, you are definitely part of the podcast. Question to Vanessa. When was the last time you got on a public bus? There's 4 parts to this. So he's got 3 other when was the last time you. First one, last time you got on a public bus.
In Iceland, going from the airport into Reykjavik town centre, which we then later met the Ride of the Locals tour company. So I did actually, which was what was that, July last year in Iceland.
Wow. Reykjavik's crazy, isn't it? When I remember doing that bus journey, because it's like a village, isn't it? It's not a big place, and you're like, this is the capital city. Wow.
Yeah, had a really nice coffee though.
Yeah.
Oh, I went to the Penis Museum. Did you go to the Penis Museum?
No, I didn't.
You missed out. It's the world's biggest collection of penises.
Is it?
I
think I used to work with them.
If you go there though, warning, you can't unsee what you see.
The world's biggest collection of penises. What, like they've been lopped off and sort of mummified?
Yeah, so it was a person, I don't know the facts, so don't quote me on any of this, but basically a guy who must have had some kind of fascination with penises started collecting penises from like the cow and the cat and the dog and the whale, I don't know. And then people learnt that he was collecting them, and so they would then send in more penises for his collection. And he now has, I think it's something like 300 or so. And as humans, you're probably typically picturing a whole load of man's willies all over the place, and it being like really sexual and some kind of like porn museum. It's not like that at all. Like you've got walrus penises and stallions, and I mean some of the animals have bones in their willies, and some of them are, I mean, huge, gigantic. It's quite eye-opening how many types of reproductive organs there are, and how all the different animals have their own little ways.
I can honestly say that is not on my list of things to go and see. Definitely.
Yeah, that's fair. What about a boob museum? There isn't one of them, though.
Well, yeah, I mean...
The thing is, when you say that, it sounds really exciting, but then it's actually more like an udder museum once you take that to animals, and that's probably not so fun.
See, yeah, that's with blokes. Like, I imagine with women, you have the ability to like not make it a sexual thing when you go in there. Whereas with blokes, for us, it's just like boobs. So you couldn't really have animal boobs in there. That would just open up a whole new can of wrong. No.
Yeah.
Do not ever open up a boob museum. Yeah. Next one. When was the last time you had an ice cream from the ice cream van?
Well, it was at least 4 years ago, because 4 years ago I gave up sugar. So I haven't had ice cream for over 4 years. And
Wow.
prior to that, an ice cream van. Don't know.
How
5
do
years ago,
you
maybe 6 years ago.
how do you find living without sugar then?
Amazing. Alcohol and ketchup don't count. Just to get that elephant out of the room. Life is too short for that. But I first gave up sugar because I was pretty bedbound after the accident, and I was like, how do I stay at size 8 with abs when I really can't do anything? I'm immobile. And I realized that sugar was. I honestly think if sugar was suddenly invented now, it would be illegal immediately.
Yeah.
It's harmful for the body. It's one of the most addictive chemicals there is. And for me, once I then gave it up, I realized that I feel so much better without it. My energies are stable. You don't get the sugar rush
peaks.
and then drop, where you just need another biscuit or you need that mid-morning snack. My energy is just constant. And over time, which is hard to believe, you actually stop seeing sugary food as food. Because when you do have it, it actually makes you feel ill. Because the body's just like, your brain wants to overtake your body with the.
So is it just like you just exclude processed sugary food? Like natural sugars, I take it, are all okay.
I do eat some fruit, but not that much. I eat lots of vegetables, and really heavily avoid any kind of processed foods because they tend to be full of sugar, salt to make them less sugary to make them less salty, fully addictive. Salt and sugar have it.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but I'm finding the older I get, I'm much more aware of the impact certain foods have on my body. And I noticed processed food. If I eat processed food, my joints are killing me the next day, and I feel really bloated and lethargic. Whereas if I sort of eat clean for a couple of days, and certainly just doing 20 minutes of rowing or half hour of rowing in the morning, what a difference that has on me. I've not done any rowing for about 3 weeks, and I've been really down and really struggled to sort of lift my spirits, almost to the point where I'm like, there's no point in me making a video because I just feel really, crap about everything. Whereas this morning, 20-minute row, felt like utter dirt, but afterwards, feel great again.
Yeah. I totally know what you mean. Yeah, my power plug just kind of said, I tried to do that really discreetly so you wouldn't see.
That was really discreet, yeah.
The power socket wasn't quite engaged, so my laptop went into sleep mode. Gotcha. I totally get you. We really are what we eat, and if we fuel our body with nutritious, good food, the amount of energy you have makes a big difference. Your body just feels better. Yeah. But you did sound old.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'll get off that soapbox. Next part. Go to... Oh, I don't understand this one, Pete. Go to Mix Up from the corner shop. What's that? Go to Mix Up.
Oh, Pick a Mix.
Was that Pick a Mix?
Best thing. I'm going to take it as a Pick a Mix. I remember as a kid, as a massive treat from my mum and dad, they'd give me and my brother £1, and we could go to the local little Pick a Mix shop, and we get a £1 Pick a Mix. And back then, I'm now going to look old, a £1 Pick a Mix was at least 90 sweets. Some of the good ones you had to pay 2p for, but most of them were a penny. And you'd pick every single one of your pennies out. That was amazing. Gosh, I probably haven't had one for Pick a Mix 12 years.
Blimey. God, seriously? Yeah. I think I've had a Pick and... I mean, I know you'll find that hard to believe, but I think I've had a Pick and Mix more recently than that. Do you remember... No, you won't. There's no way you'll remember this. Halfpenny sweets. That will definitely be before your time. I remember halfpenny sweets. Yeah,
so does that mean you had to buy two to be able to buy one?
No, because we used to... There used to be half P's in circulation. Half 1p.
No, I'm not old enough for that.
And that would have only been 76 I was born, and that would have only been the early 80s, I think, early to mid 80s that they would have got rid of the half p. Definitely. Yeah. God, I sound old. Sorry, I know I'm sounding old. Yeah, I remember
Freddy's
that.
used to be like 10p, didn't they? There's was it Freddy, the little frog chocolates?
Don't know.
I bet they're £1 now.
More likely. Yeah, like a quid is just throwaway money now, isn't it? It's ridiculous. We're going to sound like a right bunch of bitter old farts, aren't we? Last one of Pete English's
when
thing.
I was a child,
I know, yeah.
I could get a 90 sweets for my pound.
Wouldn't like that in my day. Last one of Pete's questions. When was the last time you went ice skating?
That was okay. Well, it'd been pre-accident, but it was in where were we? Bru in Italy, skiing. So that must have been New Year. If my accident was 7 years, probably 9 years ago. Oh, that's rubbish. I need to go ice skating.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I like ice skating. I can do all that, like go backwards and like cross your legs around corners and stuff. It's really fun.
You're just a proper freak. You love off-roading and you like ice skating. It's just not right. You're not wired up right. I've been once when I was 15, maybe 16. My first girlfriend, Sandra McIntyre, fond memories. My cousin came up and we decided we were going to go, well, she decided we were going to go ice skating. And it is the worst sort of hour and a half, 2 hours of my life. Closely followed by off-roading, I think. I spent so long gripping the side, the barrier of the ice rink, that I had a bruise all down my forearm here, just where I was gripping it so tightly. Hated
wow.
it. Yeah, Torval and Dean have absolutely no worries whatsoever. Right, cheers for that, Pete. Next one, Tony Hannum. Hi to you both. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. For both of you, what's your plans for the future? Well, we kind of covered that. I think we've sort of covered it.
Just keep riding down the road and see where it goes.
What about long-term, like, world domination? What you must have? Well, you might not want to talk about it, but do you have like something that you're setting your sights on, that is what I want to achieve or attain or do?
I am writing a book. I've just signed a book deal.
Wow, congratulations.
So thank you. Terrifying. I'm trying to get this onto paper. It's not like a blah, blah Vanessa book. It's going to be an impact book to help you make the most of every day, using my accident and life lessons, etc., to bring it to life. So hopefully I'll get that out later this year. So I think that's one of my big focuses at the moment. That's
fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's exciting. It's a bit surreal. And it's really emotional to write. I have to really get myself in the mindset, because some of the stuff is quite painful parts of my recovery to try and get down on paper. But I really just, I hope it will help people once I manage to get it out.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Apart from that, then, is it going to be a film?
Yeah, there you go. Let's set that film. No, I don't know. I'm just feeling pretty free-spirited. I feel very lucky and grateful to have got my body to where it is now. I think I've actually had more surgery since we last spoke.
Wow. How many is that now?
7.
Jeez.
Yeah, I had one in June last year, and I think we spoke a bit before then. It was first lockdown, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah, I think it was just before. I think that's right. You were due to go and have another surgery straight after, I think. Wow. So
I'm just kind of going free-spirited, jump on opportunities as they come, and try to make the most of every day, really.
Fantastic. Good. Right, next one, Martin Beresford. Hey guys, first of all, loving both your work as always. Vanessa, don't ever lose your positivity. It's infectious and much needed at the moment for us all. My question is a simple one. Where does your lap go when you stand up? Wow.
Have we actually got to try and answer that?
Where does your lap go when you stand up? Well, mine sort of falls below my knee at the moment, really. So I think normal people. You're looking, aren't you?
Yeah.
Go on then. What's your point of view?
It stands to attention, ready for the next time I need it.
That'll do that one. Cheers, Martin.
I have another
Thanks for that
question
question.
like that, though.
Go on.
Where do flies go when it rains?
Oh, Jesus. Wow. Wow. We need to be smoking something for these questions. God. Yeah, where do they go? Do flies have like a nest or a burrow or something?
Mm-hmm. I remember someone telling me once, because this is one of those questions that one day I want to solve it. So, I mean, genuinely, if anyone's watching this and they know where flies go, this is a genuine question. But someone said they will like sit on tree branches. And it's like, I'm sorry, I've never been up to a tree when it's raining and found a whole load of flies just sat there going.
They would have to. How does a fly sit? Show us again how a fly sits.
It's probably more like this, isn't it?
Oh no, I'm not going to be able to look at a fly again. Yeah, but they would need to be out the rain, wouldn't they? They'd have to be like under a leaf or something, and there'd be umbrellas. They must just find like the nearest pile of poo and burrow into it or something. I haven't got a clue. How long do flies last? They only live a day, don't they? I don't think they live long.
I don't know. I think wasps only last 7 days. Or is it bees? Wasp.
Which one of them dies after they've stung you? Is it a wasp?
A bee.
It's a bee.
A bee dies after they sting you.
Every day's a school day, people. You bet you didn't think you'd be learning this today.
I'm not sure we're learning. I think we're just talking in circles.
Well, it's got people thinking, hasn't it? It's got you thinking. Everyone's going to be out looking for flies now.
And the lap.
On the laps. Yeah. Next one, Andy Whitaker. I've always wanted to go to Iceland, even more so after watching your little adventure over there. Where will your next trip be, and do you think Iceland will be accessible now the volcano's shot its load? Sorry, I mean erupted. Yeah, so it has. I thought I'd heard that a volcano had erupted.
Yeah. I think there are so many volcanoes in Iceland. I don't think you worry about volcanoes when you go there. You know, if it's going to go off when you're there, it's time. So a really random one I'm wanting to do is Aral sidecars in Portugal have like an adventure experiencing you can do where you ride with a sidecar, and it's something that I just think would be really wacky and fun. And I want to go and do that with a girlfriend of mine who she's actually training to row across the Atlantic solo and break the world record, Emma Wolstenholme. But I want to go and do that with her.
Yeah.
Just I think it would be wild fun. But that's just a really random one. Honestly, I think with COVID, I am just not thinking too many big things. I know it's great to have huge goals and massive ambitions, but I'm quite content pootling around in England if that's what it is for a while. Yeah. Because we live in a beautiful country and there's lots of stuff to do here. So going and doing like the Strata Florida on the ADV bike would be really fun, for example, for a long weekend, or making the most of what I have in my reaches. Gotcha.
That lassie you were talking about, Emma, who's doing the row the Atlantic, is that Sea Changes Sport on Instagram? Is that her tagline? Do you know what her tag is on Insta?
Atlantic Raw or something like that.
Right.
No, it's not. It's not that. But she is a total badass. She's like the most badass female I've ever met.
When's she looking at doing that?
I think the plan is January or February next year, because you do it at certain times for the tides and the winds and stuff to be slightly aligned.
Yeah.
But gotcha. Yeah.
So I interrupted again. Apologies.
Emma Wolstenholme, if anyone wants to give her a stalk.
Right, we'll follow. Apologies if I interrupted. There's a slight lag in this, so I keep interrupting you all the time. I do apologise.
I'm sure I'm doing the same. I'm sorry.
It's all right. You'll have to hold up like a green flag when you're done, and I can go. Next one, Biker Espana. Hi to you both. Question for Vanessa. How's the gardening going?
I've been doing so much digging.
That was an impressive amount of muck you shifted by yourself with a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, I mean, it was tons and tons and tons of it. It took 4 full days and a couple of afternoons in the week. But it was so satisfying. So actually, a little bit excitedly, the property that we're buying, there's like a 95-year-old living in there at the moment, and she's going into assisted living. Mm-hmm. And she's letting us go into the garden now to do some gardening because it's gone to jungle. There's brambles. Alex actually managed to hang on a bramble from the tree. It was that strong. He's like an 8-kilo guy, and that's how big the brambles are. So we're actually going to be doing some gardening over there over the weekend, which is going to be exciting. But just start digging. I like being outside. I like axes and chainsaws, and it's really satisfying.
Yeah, I haven't done anything really in the garden apart from cut the grass since we moved in here, so it needs quite a bit of TLC, our garden. I've got to crack on and get that done. Biker Hispania also asks, have you found a use for the large tyres yet?
Yes. Actually had a play on them earlier. They'll be in my stories soon. I just haven't posted them yet.
Right.
Trials bike. See if I can.
Okay. I thought you meant you were going to be like tyre flipping.
So basically, I got my bike MOT'd, and whilst I was at the garage, I spotted some huge agricultural tyres, and I was just like, guys, what are you doing? What are you doing with them? So yeah, they came home with me. Don't know if this is going to work. You see the massive tyre?
Yeah, I can see that. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I had a play on the trials bike. They are really big, but I made it over.
Good effort.
So
well done.
Something called a double blip, which is the technique for going over obstacles. So it's really good practice.
Gotcha. I thought you were going to be like, tyre flipping, fizzing them. We used to use them when I was in a public order unit. Our PTI was a psychopath, and there's the next size up of those tyres. The great big ones that go in the quarry trucks. I don't know where he got them, but he acquired a couple.
Wow.
So we used to have to do tyre flipping and all sorts with them. Bloody hell, it was hard work. Jeez, they're heavy old buggers.
Those tyres are about 110 kilos, so I don't actually know. I'll have to try flipping one.
Yeah, you
Challenge
should.
accepted.
Yeah, you'll be able to do it. There's technique to it. There's technique to it. So it's good work.
It's like picking up an adventure bike.
Kind of, yeah. Except don't do it backwards. You have to sort of face the tyre. Well, that's how we did it anyway. Cheers for that, Biker Hispania. Next one, Robert Forster. Welcome back, Vanessa. I was at the dentist today. One thing led to another. Oh, where's this going? And like condoms, it turns out you can get flavoured latex. Oh, flavoured. I don't know if you saw who was on the podcast recently, and we were talking about flavoured. One of the questions was, why can you get flavoured condoms, but you can't get flavoured latex gloves for the dentist? That was the question. Who was it? Sam Manicum. Sam Manicum came on, and they asked him that. One of the world adventure traveller experts, and they asked him that question. But anyway, sorry. It turns out you can get flavoured latex gloves. My question is, what things do you think should be flavoured but aren't? Wow. So, what things should be flavoured but aren't?
Totally windows. They're so good to lick, and it'd be even more fun if they were flavoured.
Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that.
I don't know.
I refuse to comment on that.
Yeah, I can't even retract, can I? I can just hide.
Tough luck. Hey, if you like licking windows, that's entirely your own personal choice. There's nothing wrong with saying that you like doing it. Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
What should be flavoured? Oh, I got it.
Go on.
Copper grease that you use on the bikes. It looks like this most amazing glittery chocolate icing. Or the red grease that you get looks like it should be really yummy and strawberry, but I know if I actually tasted it, it would be disgusting.
Why would you want to, though?
But it looks so good.
Wow. I mean, there's nothing popping to my head, but I can pretty much safely say copper grease would never come into my head. Flavoured copper grease. I'm going to play my buy on that one, Robert. I can't think of anything at all on that. Yeah. We'll draw a discreet veil. Next one, Ollie Rye. Hi both. Glad to see you back, Vanessa, and thank you for inspiring me to work on my own bike. My question is, Buddy is gone. What bike would you purchase to replace it? Oh, so if you didn't have
Wait,
Buddy...
what bike gone? Hang on, if what was gone?
If Buddy has gone, what bike would you replace it with? Look at your face.
Why would Buddy leave me?
I don't know. No idea.
Okay, actually, that's quite easy. I would go for the Husqvarna TE 300i. So Buddy's a 250i. If money grew on trees, I would probably swap him out now for the 300i. The reason why I have the 250, I did start on the 150, is because going big and much so and having the biggest one available doesn't actually help you learn. And starting on a smaller bike makes you learn to ride the bike, use the gearbox, etc. better. But I'm now at a point where my confidence and my riding capability where I would be better suited on a 300i.
Gotcha.
So I probably would actually swap them up for the 300.
All right. Is the 300i, is that what Toro had? Toro Trail, is that the ones that we rode down there?
No, they were 4-strokes. So they had the 250 and the 350 4-strokes. So they do feel very different. Yeah, there's a bit of fire and explosion in the 2-strokes belly. In the 2-stroke. Sure.
Do you know, I've never ridden a 2-stroke. No, never ridden 2-stroke. I've heard they're a bit of an animal. Way above my pipe pay grade. Next one, Stuart Bailey. Question for you both. Recently, my son came home from work and told me of a cool trick for finding a right angle when cutting a piece of wood. As he explained it, I realised it was basically Pythagoras. At school, I do wonder where these questions go sometimes. At school, we were all taught things that we thought we would never need in life, such as algebra, trigonometry, Pythagoras, etc. Now, later in life, what pointless knowledge from school have you found surprisingly useful and are glad for being taught it? Is there anything you wish you'd been taught at school but didn't through lack of options or lack of attention? So, first off, something you learnt at school that you thought, why am I learning this? And now you're like, that's where it fits.
You get some really hard questions.
I know. They make you think, don't they?
They do.
I think... Sorry, go on.
No, you go. I'm still thinking.
I think things like algebra and Pythagoras, like the maths side of stuff that I thought, when am I ever going to use this? It has actually come in handy for just a few little things. You know, when you're trying to work out, two sides and you're trying to work out the distance between the other, like, that's trigonometry. I can do that. So yeah, algebra for me. Not algebra, trigonometry for me. I have found it useful.
I maybe want to say things like using, like the basics of using Excels and PowerPoints and all of those kind of programs. The amount I use them for like my accounting or presentation decks or graphic design for like building my website and stuff. Like it's been really practical, but that was later in school. That wasn't like me. This question makes me think of primary school.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, mine was definitely secondary school. Trigonometry, algebra.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm showing my age here because we didn't use Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. We didn't have it at school. Didn't use it.
I wondered why you were giggling as I was saying that.
Jesus. How old? I mean, I should never ask a lady her age, but how old are you?
34.
Jeez. I mean, I'm only 10 years older. I know I look about 84, but I'm only 10 years older. But the difference in that 10 years at school must be, well, plainly is phenomenal. We were still jotters. You couldn't use a calculator for a lot of exams when I was at school. You had to show all your workings and everything for all the maths. It all had to be laid out.
Actually, no, I'd say our maths was like that. For some of the exams, you were allowed your scientific calculator, but for a lot of them, you had to show all the workings.
Were you posh? Did you have a solar-powered calculator?
Aren't they all solar-powered?
No. Back in the day, they were about this big. You needed a separate bag. So Oh, go on then. Oh, sorry. What did you say again? For what pointless thing? What pointless thing were you taught that you found useful for later on? I can't remember. Did you answer that?
Yeah, totally.
I've forgotten. All right, second part of his question. Is there anything you wish you had been taught at school but didn't through lack of options or lack of attention? Oh, I think
Probably
for
more
me,
languages.
yeah.
I think more languages. Yeah, and learning a language early. I didn't start doing Spanish until I must have been going to GCSE, so 14. Whereas if we had been able to learn Spanish from 5 or whatever language it was, it would have been effortless because your brain at that age just absorbs it all. And I think it would have been cool to have languages earlier, which a lot of countries in the world do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, English is a prime example, isn't it? A lot of countries out there in the school system, they learn, as you said, English almost from the start. I would have liked to have... I learnt a bit of French at secondary school, but I definitely wish I'd done a lot more. Certainly Spanish, French, a few others. I wish I'd done more of the art thing. I wish I'd done more like graphic design and everything, because I haven't got a clue. It's just a mystery to me at the moment. I just sort of do stuff and then look and go, that doesn't look right, but I don't know why it doesn't look right. Do you know what I mean? It's all trial and error. Yeah. I think that's about it for me, really. It's again though, like I remember at school, well, I mean, there was no internet, was there? So there was no, like a lot of careers and stuff. There was no being a YouTuber. There was all that sort of stuff just didn't exist. So it was all, well, you're going to be an engineer or you're going to go into the fish. That's basically, or a farmer. That's basically all it was at my school. You're going to go to uni and be an engineer, or you're going to like work on the boats or work on the farm. Make a choice. Go. Yeah.
I wanted to be a mounted police lady, horseback police lady, when I was really young.
And when did that stop?
I don't know. I then wanted to be a barrister, and then I got told that I wouldn't be good at staying in the box, so I decided that wasn't a good idea.
Last one for Patreon. Reverend Al. Hi to you both. Hope you're both well. Question. If you were unable to travel on motorcycles, what other mode of transport would keep you overlanding? Okay.
Horse. Easy. Horses. Absolute horse lover. Yeah.
I'd quite like to. Well, I've got to do it because I said I'm going to do it. But I'm going to cycle around the UK. But I would quite like to just do like a cycle around the world type thing. I think. I don't know. Just like I like the freedom of that. You're not restrained by fuel, or well, you need food obviously, but you're not restrained by fuel for the actual bike. Yeah, I quite like the idea of that. Free. Horse. Wow, where would you go?
Anywhere. I don't know, in another world in life, I would totally be a cowgirl. I'd love it. I'd have my chaps and my horse and my lasso, and I'd herd the cows up. Be amazing. One day I'd really like to do one of those like working ranch trips where you go and just like live and help on a ranch for a few weeks. So if there's anyone's watching that has a ranch in America and a horse that just would like Vanessa to come help you with, I'd be game. I'd work really hard. But you could time that. You could time that for when you're over for that wedding. Yeah, but I've got to find someone who's willing to adopt me for a few weeks to work on their ranch. I don't think that's going to be an issue. You'll be fine. They'll sort it out. Reach out. If anyone's out there that knows anyone with a ranch, drop Vanessa a line. Second part of Reverend Al. Yeah, you're committing to it. You're committed to it. Once you said it, you've got to do it. Reverend Al, second part. Secondly, if a Ural with a sidecar was the only option, would you still travel? Yeah, 100%. Definitely. Yeah, that was the bike I said just now that I want to do some crazy adventure on because it looks so wild. Oh, with the Urals, were they? I didn't hear you say the Ural. Ah, yeah. Yeah. I on my, here we go, I'll mention it, on my world trip, when I was crossing into Mauritania, going down west of Africa, there was a South African chap called Robert who
we sort of met up just before the border there with Mauritania, and he was riding a Ural, the Ural sidecar. So yeah, really handy. The amount of stuff he could carry is great. But yeah, I'd do that. I'd definitely do it. I'm not really bothered what I would ride on a trip like that. If there's the option to go or not to go, and this is the bike you're going to do it on, then you take the bike, wouldn't you? Surely you just take whatever bike that is. Maybe it's just me.
I would.
Yeah, definitely.
Or the horse.
Or the horse. Yeah. Right, so that's all the Patreon questions. Thank you very much, people, for submitting them. We'll now move across to Instagram. It's at TeapotOne Insta. And Vanessa's is at the girl on a bike. First one, at Africa Twin UK. Please, can you ask Vanessa, when are we going back to Spain? I need a round 2 with you both. Oh yeah, he had a bit of a nightmare, didn't he, the last time we were down there? I think he cracked his rib or he cracked a rib, I think, didn't he?
He really hurt himself. He was in a bad way for a few months. Like, you couldn't make him laugh, that's for sure. Poor guy.
I remember that.
We need to organise that. Torre Trail round 2.
I'm sure, yeah. I was chatting with Lyndon just before Christmas, actually, so he's desperate. Obviously, he's desperate to get people back, so yeah, I'm sure we'll do something. At motor_MA77. Vanessa's an inspiration. I take my hat off to her. Fair play. What gives you the drive you've got? Do you sell any of it because she's made a fortune? She'd make a fortune. So yeah, what gives you the drive? Were you like this before your accident? Like, you're a very positive person and very driven.
Yeah. The only thing I can really put it down to, when I was young, I think I was about 6, my mum was really, really ill and pretty much bedbound, in and out of hospital for about 7 years, had some major surgery, like spinal neck surgery and stuff. And I think there's an element of seeing her go through that. It made me really want to get up and make the most of what I had. And she never gave up. She pushed on through, whether, having us as kids helped give her, extra focus to keep going. But I think I got a lot of energy from her through that. And then as an adult, I just think the world is full of so much negativity that it's very easy to get bogged down into it, especially at the moment with all the news of COVID. And I just think finding things around us to make us smile, just loads of little things add up. And I am so much happier when I'm smiling. So why not try and make sure I'm smiling as much as possible? And I'm human. I have really down moments and days too. I try and share those as well. Life isn't all shiny, rosy and easy. No. But it's just about trying to surround yourself with good energies and putting out good energies.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important, whether we like it or not, we do have a reach, and you plainly do have an impact on people, don't we, through our activities on social medias and YouTube and everything like that. And I think it's important to share those sort of negative days, the down days, because I think that there are a lot of people out there that think, nobody else is ever down. Look at them. They're always up and at it and really positive. And sometimes that's just life, isn't it? Some days you're not. Some days you are feeling a bit shit and not really up for it. Yeah. How do you deal? Do you get much negativity through your socials? Do you know?
Touch wood, no.
Oh, good.
I'd say the YouTube is where I've had the most. I find YouTube is a lot less personal.
Yeah.
You get a lot more people just randomly watching stuff who has absolutely no idea who you are.
Yeah.
So, a really little example, I have this white skin, the vitiligo, all over my face. So I choose to always have it camouflaged. That's my confidence, my choice. And yeah, I will always have makeup on, and I like my mascara. And I'll get the odd person who's just like, oh, take the fake eyelashes off, love, you'd have way more credibility. And I'm like, well, for one, they're not fake, that you can put them. They're natural. And two, just because I've got mascara on doesn't mean I can't ride a bike. Like, what?
Yeah.
So actually, I think I've been really, really, I think the thing, if anyone, I kind of feel like I try and put myself out there in such an honest way. I never try to be anything I'm not. I never try to pretend to know anything. And I hope that makes it a little bit more difficult to then, I don't know. I've been really lucky. I feel very grateful that I don't. But YouTube is where I do get the most. But they're normally such ridiculous, superficial comments where you're like, really? You must be having a really shit life to have to say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I find that a lot of the time people say stuff, and if you actually reply and sort of confront them about it, 99.9% of the time they're like, oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. No, and you're like, why? It's like they just have a little cheap shot at you a lot of the time. You're like, why do that?
Yeah.
Just why?
And people don't seem to realise how much words can hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? The amount of times I remember before I did all this malarkey, I remember when you'd hear about people saying about getting bullied on social media and all this sort of stuff. And I used to think to myself, grow up, you're an adult. Do you know what I mean? Just don't read it. But it becomes hard. It does become hard. And you can have 1,000 really positive comments saying, really great stuff about what you do and how much of a positive impact you're having on people. And you have that one that's just like a dig or one comment. And that's the one you'll focus on. It's just human nature, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's sad is that so often there's no reality or truth or full understanding of where that comment comes from. No. And then what's even sadder is that the person who said that, like, happiness, positive energy isn't a tradable thing. As in, if you put someone else down, it doesn't make you a better person. It doesn't make you happier. You can be nice to someone and it doesn't cost you anything. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not like a trade. It's not like if you put someone else down, it's a scale. And then just put out nice energy. There's enough battles in life. We don't need people being horrible to each other.
Yeah, I think because it is such an anonymous platform, social media, people just feel like they can say absolutely anything, And I kind of think, I'll never put anything in a comment that I would never say face to face with somebody. Do you know what I mean? It's like, for me, there's no difference. It's a conversation between two people, isn't it? And yes, sometimes I do look at some comments. I never used to get much, but definitely through lockdown, and certainly over the last, I would say, 4 months or so, there's been a lot more. I'm not inundated by any stretch of the imagination, but there's been a lot more over this latest lockdown. You can definitely see it on my platforms anyway. And it's like, just, I know everyone's down, but Jesus, just put a positive spin on things. And anyway, Martin Treacher. Has Vanessa managed to get a ride in a Chinook yet? Oh, what's that about? I've missed that. What's that all about?
So I was pulled over in a car park along the Wye Valley by Tintin a couple of weeks ago. You can see this on my Instagram, on my Facebook page if you scroll down. And I was just sat there, and suddenly it felt like the car was like vibrating, and I immediately knew what that sound was. That like boom, 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 boom of a Chinook. And I jumped out of the car. As I'm getting out of the car, I'm opening my phone because I can hear that thing coming. And I hit record before I can even see it because I can tell. Get my camera up, and then this Chinook comes down the Wye Valley. I mean, it can't have been more than 100 feet off the water. I mean, really low. And it just goes straight past down the valley. I then obviously was on a mission to try and find the crew, who I did find. They promised to let me know next time they come down the valley so that I can like be out there with my camera again, like a proper little spotter. But no, I haven't had a fly in a Chinook yet. So if anyone can make that happen, I'd be game. I need like an RAF Families Day. That would be amazing.
They are pretty special, aren't they, the old Chinooks? We used to see it working in London. As you said, those in the Apache gunships are just totally undeniable, really unmistakable aircraft noises, aren't they? We used to see them. The Chinooks used to do the old mail run and stuff up the river. Yeah, great stuff. J Farmer 039. Vanessa has a great story. How has her outlook on life changed after recovery from injury?
A lot more gratitude and appreciation for what I have. Massively for, just finding things to be grateful for, really. And, you know, even in those really dark moments post-surgery, there were things that I could be thankful for, like massively. And I think I've just sort of realized, like, what is worth my energy. You know, some of the trivia stuff that I used to get upset about or care about or argue about, and in the scheme of life, it just doesn't matter. Like, Kuna Matata for so much stuff online. That's probably showing my age.
I won't worry about that. No, that's what's the word? Yeah, a lot of respect for you for that. The ability to sort of focus on the positive all the time. Like you said, you're bound to have down days as well. You know, I know a lot of people contact me saying, you know, they struggle on days and can't see the positive. Do you get that? Do you get a lot of feedback from people who are just like, yeah, same with me? How do you deal with that?
I just try and be honest with them with things that have helped me, you know, reassuring them that it does get easier with time, and some of the tips and things I've discovered that helped me through, like mindfulness has really helped me. Learning to realize that I'm in control of my thoughts, and my thoughts control my emotions. And so if I can work out what my trigger points are, so to explain that a little bit more, I manage and live with pain now, and very often I'll just have a moment where I just go, I wish I didn't hurt. You know, I wish my body could just suddenly be fixed. I wish this accident could be behind me. Okay, so you can see the trigger point now. I'm already... So I've learned to recognize the beginning of those thoughts, which if I let them continue will spiral me down to the point that I get upset and I cry and I emotionally, everything just feels worse. So I've learned to recognize when I first have that thought, and through mindfulness and controlling my thoughts, I can go, no, Vanessa, we're not even going to go there. It's not going to do anything. All it's going to do is get you upset. It's not going to change your body. Your body is what it is. You are where you are. Come on, let's focus on something else and crack on and do something else. And so it's really helped me, even when I'm out on the bike and I have a freak, because it's amazing how quickly your mind can go back to the accident and think something's going to happen again. And I still get flashbacks, and I'll freak out when a car comes in certain ways. And even in those moments, I can go, no, Vanessa, you're safe, you're fine. Close the door. Because if I let those thoughts continue, the thoughts then flow and then they become emotions, and it's just like this downward spiral into upset. So I think mindfulness has helped me a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will find that very, very helpful, actually. The ability to recognise, as you said, those trigger points, and the ability to hit it dead in its tracks and take your mind down a different path. I totally sympathise with what you're saying there about certain situations. I'm really conscious now of approaching traffic from the side junctions, because I got wiped out a couple of years ago, and that's still. I was out on Tuesday, and every time I was coming up to a junction and a car's coming, you know, from the side to join the main carriageway, the old bum's twitching all the time. And I think most people will find that with biking. Biking is a real mental sort of, not process, it's not sport, activity. Because once something gets in your mind, you know, you come up to a corner on the road, I don't know what it's like off-road, but on the road, if you're coming up to a corner and you feel any movement, if you're not used to that movement in the bike, it starts getting in your mind then, and, you know, or I don't know, you think you see gravel in the road and it's in your mind, so then you stiffen up and the ride just gets worse and worse.
You tense, and then it's even worse.
Yeah, and you really have to have that ability to recognise that and just chill and just let the bike do what it's going to do. Off-road's exactly the same, isn't it? Just let the bike do what it's doing underneath you and everything's going to be fine. But yeah, I hope people have found that useful about the, what did you call it? Wellness, mental wellness? Is that what you called it? Mindfulness.
There's lots online that you can read up about. But for me, the key part of that mindfulness is learning to be conscious of your thought process and being able to go, no. let's think about the daffodils.
Awesome. Right, next one. Raidu412. What is your first memory with motorcycles? Can you pinpoint it? Ooh, I can. What about you? Can you remember your first biking memory?
No, I remember as a kid, I used to always, so describing my dad, my description of my dad was my dad has a moustache, a beard, and a motorbike. So yeah, he had a bike growing up. I never even remember seeing him ride it. I never remember riding it. We were lucky that we had horses, so it was a bit more of like the pony side of things. But I do remember that was my description of my dad, which is so random that like his facial hair and his bike were his definition.
Yeah. For me, I was about 4, I think, 4 or 5, and my dad had come home from working on the rigs, and one of his mates from work turned up at the house, and it must have been a Suzuki Bandit. I just remember it being a big blue naked Suzuki, big blue tank and a big silver S of the Suzuki. And I remember the day he left, he picked me up and plonked me on the tank, and he did a lap around the house, because we used to live in the middle of nowhere. So a big lap around the outside of the house. And that was it. I was just, from then on, it was like, I love motorbikes. I want a motorbike. And I didn't throw my leg over a bike until, cool, when did Mum pass away? 2008. So it's 2008 I passed my test, and I had done my CBT that year as well. So yeah, 28 years later then, if I was about 4, 28 years later before I actually rode a bike myself. But that memory is clear as day, still remember it. Loved it. Next one, Andy B _105. Can you ask Vanessa if she's inherited her military Gore-Tex waterproofs, and are they as good as they seem to be due to how much she wears them? I've just bought a complete set online for 50 quid because she wears them so much. Bargain.
Wow, you did well getting them for 50 quid. Yes, so my husband is Royal Air Force, and Emma, the friend that I mentioned who's rowing across, is ex-RAF. And being RAF people, they tend to hate this stuff because it's their uniform. I love camo. So Emma was just like, do you want some of my old kit? And I'm like, yes, definitely. Yeah, it's an amazing kit. I am never wet in it. The only challenge of the trousers is they're not really strong enough for off-road, so the bit around my boots really is shredding now. Right. But they really are that good. Yeah, definitely. I think I wear the Adventure Spec waterproof jacket, and that is phenomenal. Even in Iceland, I was dry in that combination. So yeah, they are that good, and they look so cool. I wish one of the Adventure Spec, their waterproof jacket I have them is actually, I don't think it's Kevlar, but it's got some kind of material in it where it's actually a waterproof shell that can withstand what Vanessa does rolling around on the ground next to a motorbike, because that happens quite a lot. And I haven't ripped it, touch wood, or damaged it. They are going to bring out trousers, but I can guarantee they'll just be really grey and boring. Like, why can't they do camo ones?
Yeah, I think there seems to be some development coming with kit, definitely. But it's a weird one, isn't it? It's like they almost can't. The sort of biking industry, the clothing industry, it's not quite got the function and the aesthetics and put them together yet, have they? I think like Knox certainly seem to be. They're bringing out this whole range now, aren't they? With the padded, it's like a padded over base layer that you put on, which then means you can wear anything over the top of it because your armor is affected. A bit like motocross, it's like an armor suit that you put on, and then you can wear any suit you like over the top of it. And they've got some pretty stylish looking jackets and jeans and everything in their range. But I think a lot of the other clothing manufacturers, it just looks like biking kit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that the challenge for me is that on the road, particularly, bikers, sorry mate, I didn't see you, is the classic line, right? So why do we all wear brown, grey, black, shades of black clothing? it's really hard to find a cool red, or I'm not saying we need to be day glow yellow, because yeah, I get we don't want to be day glow yellow, but like even a bright purple or a blue or something, it's really hard to get like funky, cool coloured kit or camouflage. Not accepted.
Or camouflage.
Camouflage.
Icon, the American company Icon, they do some really. I had an Icon Raiden jacket. It was sort of bright blue and white and looked really good. Well, funnily enough, I got wiped out when I was wearing it, so it's probably not the best advert. But they do some really good sort of street cred type of. How old do I sound? I don't mean it to sound like that, but they do. Yeah,
down
oh God.
with the kids.
I know, yeah. I'll start wearing my baseball cap backwards. Their kit does look good. It looks totally unique to, as you said, most of the other bike kit that's out there. But as a 40-year-old geezer, I felt a right idiot wearing it, I've got to say, because I was like, I'm not 19, you know what I mean? It's like I don't wear baggy pants around my knees. So, but I do understand what you're saying, yeah. Next one then, Robert Newman, 27. Hi Bruce and Vanessa, hope you're both well. All good, thank you. What an incredible story. My work is on the roads, delivering to hospitals, and I see all the bad driving every day. Running lights, using mobile phones, not using indicators and on roundabouts, etc. There's no excuse for endangering others. However, lockdown is easing and the sun's starting to shine, and we're all getting excited to be back out there. So a nice simple question for you both. Favourite bike and exhaust combination? i.e. an MT-07 with a TOS exhaust really melts my butter. So, bike and exhaust, what would you go for? Money no object, ideal, go.
Oh my goodness, I'm not like a exhaust pipe researcher.
Do you not put aftermarket exhausts on your bikes then? Do you just go stock?
So like on my Husky, I'd love an FMF exhaust.
Right.
But the extra gains I'd put on the bike, I'm probably better off focusing that time on my skill.
Yeah, but does it sound good?
Well, yeah, but a lot of the places you don't want your bike to sound loud.
Yeah,
because
true.
a lot of the hard enduro places have sound meters, and if your bike's too loud, you can't ride there. And my Harley is ridiculous. I've got Two Brother Racing upsweep bikes, 2-to-1 upsweeps. They are lovely. Jeez. And I've got the Crusher Performance Maverick air filter. I do love the sound of my Harley. You can hear it on my YouTube. But I don't know if I've got a dream combination. Yeah. I like what I've got on my Harley. Does that count?
No, I get you. I love the Austin Racing exhausts, but they're just too loud. I had an Austin Racing slip-on the Tuono that I had, and I took the baffle out, and I'm not kidding you, the end can was just, it's like a paint pot, and it was obscene, but I loved it, absolutely loved it. Then I had one on the Triumph Explorer I had, but again, it's just so loud. And I think ideal ultimate for me would be the new Gen 3 Super Duke R with the Austin Racing exhaust on it, because it looks and sounds absolutely amazing. But if you look at the continent, what's going on over there, Germany and France, they're all cracking down on motorbike exhausts and noise limits. Wales has started to tighten up on it. I was out with some mates in Wales last September, and my mate on his Tuono got pulled because he had a slip-on exhaust with no baffle in it, and they did him for that. Yeah. And a tinted visor and a tiny number plate. they did him for everything. Basically. And on my last GS that I had before this one, I had a Kropovich system on it, but I kept the baffle in it, and I was doing a track day. I can't remember where I was. I think it was California Superbike School I did on the tractor, and the tractor set off the blooming trackside noise meter, and it's like, this is totally road legal exhaust, and it still set off the blooming noise limiter. Wow. So I can see them bringing in a lot more stringent restrictions on noise, sadly, for bikes here in the UK, because it's what's happening abroad, and I can see it happening over here, definitely.
Well, where I'm living at the moment in temporary accommodation is right on quite a busy road, and I've got to say it's given me a whole different appreciation for like the really obnoxious bikes that go past. And I'm a biker who loves an exhaust, but actually, if you're in a little village that's on a popular biking route, I feel really sorry for some of those houses, because it might just feel like you just one bike going past, but when 200 bikes go past in a day, it's quite a disturbance, actually. Not wanting to sound like the old person. Gosh, you're trying to make me look old on this interview.
We have been the moaning old gits in this podcast, haven't we? I'm the same. We have a very busy road, sort of at the bottom of the garden over the sort of waste ground way, and all day all you hear is bikes going up and down, because they come down the hill to where the roundabout is, so you get the ba 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 and the exhaust's overrunning, and then the same as they come off the roundabout, they're accelerating. I love it. I've got to say I love it, but yeah, I do understand how it could pee people off, definitely. But for me, it's like a symphony going off. I love the sound of it. But yeah, like you said, I think it's, how do you combat that? You can't really have both, can you? You're gonna piss somebody off either way, whether it's the biker who likes the exhaust.
Even a quiet exhaust is gonna piss someone off.
Yeah, I've seen when I've done reviews of the electric bikes, I would say, if it's not people talking about range anxiety, which is becoming a bit outdated now, but if it's not that, it's people saying, "Oh, I'd miss the engine noise," and
I didn't actually miss the engine noise. I mean, I have a ridiculously loud Harley, but I felt that without that noise, you got so much more from the elements around you. That I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was the same, totally the same. And when you go down the little country lanes and stuff, like you hear everything else that's going on, don't you? It's crazy. Yeah. I really like the electric. I'm not scared about the onset or the oncoming of electric motorbikes. I think definitely in our lifetime it will be here. Definitely. You seen that new Triumph that's coming out? Did you see the shots of it?
No, I've missed this.
It's
okay,
not.
I'm gonna be looking that up.
It's not public yet, as in it's not been released yet. But they released some design shots of it. Yeah. Well, it's not even at the spy shot stage. There's still the prototype drawings of it, but they've got the main, like the drive system for it, the engine. They've got that down now, and it's just, they're obviously doing all their road tests behind the scenes before they'll release it. It looks amazing. It basically looks like a speedy, a street triple or a speed triple. Looks cracking. Anyway, Gavin Fraser, 39. You're an inspiration to everyone, including me. I wish I had your positivity after my accident, but that's not what I was going to ask. Are you and Rucky Monster considering starting up your own adventure tours? That would be like the Iceland trip. That was awesome. Sorry, I do apologise, Gavin. Your punctuation is horrendous. There's not a comma or a full stop in this entire thing. Let's have a look. Ask, are you and Rucky Monster considering starting up your own adventure tours? That would be like... Sorry. Jesus, this is hard to say.
That would be like Iceland.
The Iceland tours.
Do an adventure tour to Iceland.
Yeah, that would...
No, not thought of it, really. It's just it's not something on the radar. I don't know. You've got to have a lot of bikes and maintenance and huge costs of it. I really enjoy riding in lots of different places. So the idea of doing the same tour and over and over again, I'm less excited by that idea.
He's got another part of the question. I'm just trying to read through it to see what it says.
Okay.
Would you be considering showing us and the manufacturers what their adventure bikes can do on and off-road? Excuse me. And is there really that big a difference between the road and off-road adventure bikes if the tyres are right? So basically, I think what you're saying is along the lines of what you've been doing on the Africa Twin. You've got the Africa Twin again at the moment, haven't you? Is that right?
Yeah.
And so obviously Africa Twin, you can take that off-road. You can do some pretty... I wouldn't, not enduro type stuff, but you can do some fairly decent off-roady stuff if you know what you're doing. But it's also a good bike on the road as well. So would you be looking at doing more of that on the road going adventure? You've had the GS, haven't you, as well? I think that's what he's asking.
I haven't pushed the GS off-road in the same way. Done quite a lot on the T7, Tenere 700, quite a lot off-road on that. And I've done quite a bit on the Tiger 850, 850, I think I was on. I'm well up doing more off-road and on-road and stuff like that. I really do gravitate towards the mud, the opposite to you.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be changing the tyres on the Africa Twin. So at the moment, it's got like an 80-20 road to off-road. So I'm going to put the Michelin Amity Wilds on, which are 50-50, and then try and see if I can get it up some pretty hairy stuff in the Wye Valley. So stay tuned for that adventure.
Nice.
I think there will be a lot of shiny side down.
I've not ridden that new Africa Twin, the manual. I had the Adventure DCT one. I had that, and I've ridden the previous manual 1000cc one in the Canaries. I love that. It was really good for the Canary roads. I just kind of not sure how it would be on like like mainland Spain roads, you know, the mainland Spanish roads, you know, they're much faster in places, so there's a lot more places where you'd be really on the gas and then into the tight hairpins. I think for me, the previous 1000, it wouldn't have enough guts at the top end to compete with the likes of your GSs, your KTMs, Ducatis. But it's got all the low-down grunt to power out the corners, so it's really fun in the tight Nadgery stuff, but just runs out of gas on the faster sweepers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. I mean, the 1100 I've got feels like it's got more than enough power to have fun. I'm certainly not on the stops very often. Like on the T7, riding some pretty sporty roads in Sardinia, I was on the stops like on every straight, just being like,
come on, give me more.
But on the 1100, it seems to have so much to give. Yeah,
I'd like to try that, the 11.
But I think his question was about all the different bikes, and does it really make that much difference if you've got decent tires? I think if someone says to me which is the best adventure bike, I don't think there is this is the best, because they've all got compromises and they're all slightly better at doing this than that. And it's down to what sort of riding you actually want to be doing, which one is going to be better suited, which is why there are a range on the market and why they all sell. So I guess it's about working out exactly what you're after. But I do think tyres make a massive difference. If we think about the fact that your tyres are the only bit in contact with the ground.
Yeah. And sometimes it's literally like half an inch worth of contact, isn't it? Maybe an inch at times. So... yeah, definitely. So it's a mental thing, isn't it? It absolutely is a mental thing. Certainly on the road, because of that movement. If you don't like movement underneath you, some tyres have more squidginess to them than others. And if you don't like any movement, tyres can be straight in your head, and boom, that is it. I remember on my Gixxer, I used to love movement. I used to love movement of the Gixxer underneath me. You know, braking hard into the bends, and you feel the bike move. I used to love all that, and now I'm like, no, give me rock steady. I want this thing sucking to the road. Right, so that's everything on Instagram. Last one's across on Facebook. How are you for time? You okay for time?
Yeah, good for a little bit longer.
Awesome. Right, so across onto Facebook. First one, Ian Turner. Question for Vanessa. Would you do a road trip across America, and would you do it on a Harley using just tarmac roads, or use a BMW using tarmac and dirt? So I think that is either the Harley roads or it has to be BMW, tarmac and dirt.
That's a really, really easy question for me. I'm intrigued which one you think it's going to be.
Well,
it's a really easy answer for me.
Actually, I think you would like the Harley for a road trip. No, I'd
go for the off-road.
See, I thought that was the obvious.
Yeah, but maybe I could go for the new Pan America and do the off-road. So it would be Harley and off-road.
Yeah, I can't wait to ride that. looks cracking. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't
I
like
haven't
the look
lived
of
up
it.
to expectations.
Yeah, I didn't like the look of it initially. I was like, what have they done with this? But I don't know, the more I look at it, the more I think, ooh, I think Harley are doing it right at the moment. They're like the Livewire, electric bike. Never in a million years would have thought Harley would go down that route. But when you ride it, it's unequivocally different to any other electric bike. You know, it's almost like you know you're on a Harley. I don't know how they've done it. I think they've engineered some form of like vibration into it. It's got that chuggy feeling. It's crazy. I think I did read
But
that they had
it, haven't they? Haven't they discontinued the Livewire because it was so unsuccessful?
Seriously. Have they? I didn't know that.
I hope this isn't fake news. I thought they had.
I hadn't heard that. I'd be surprised because, well, I mean, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but then
Yeah.
Harleys tend to be, don't they? But yeah, with this new Pan American, it's unique. There's not another adventure bike that looks like that, is there? So
No,
we'll
I
see.
felt the same as you actually. I first saw it and I was like, oh God,
Yeah.
ugly. But now, I think it's got some poise, man. It looks really good. And there's lots of little things they put on it that I think are really clever, like the what's it called? Something suspension, the adjustable suspension. So when you park or stop, the suspension will drop. So
Okay.
I think it's 4 inches or something that it will drop.
Blimey.
Four fake news. It drops a certain amount.
Right.
We have to go and get Dr. Google on this. It will lower when you come to a stop so that you can reach the ground, and as you pull away, it will rise up again so that you get more ground clearance. And I think that's really clever. Adventure bikes are huge bikes, and if that makes it a little bit more approachable for a lot of us, I think they've got some innovation in there. But the proof will be in the cookie, or whatever that phrase is. So we'll see.
The first thing that comes to mind there is that'll go wrong. You know, it's just like, oh, the more electrics you put in there, oh, that'll go wrong. But then people say that about everything, don't they? And I think for most people, you don't have an issue. Anyway, right. Sean Coulson, question for Bruce. Would you consider doing the BMW off-road skills course if offered? Alternatively, Vanessa, would you show Bruce the ropes? I'd love to do the off-road day. Absolutely. I'm not averse to off-road. I just don't know what I'm doing. So I need to spend more time doing it, and I need to be taught how to do it. Definitely. I'll be up for that, absolutely. Next one, Peter McNaughty. If you had to commute to and from work and could choose one road, one track, or one off-road route to do the rest of your commuting life, what would it be and on what bike? Ooh.
Blimey.
Ooh. Wow.
That's a really hard question. I'm trying to think of a lane that would... Problem is when you do anything over and over and over again, even the most amazing thing in the world can become boring or underappreciated because you do it so monotonously.
I think for me, it would plainly be road, but the problem with road riding is the more you ride a road, certainly for me and most of the people I know, the quicker you will try and ride. You'll push it more and more. You'll brake later. You'll accelerate harder. You'll turn. You'll lean more, and that can only ever go one way, which is you reach your limit. Or if you are absolutely shit hot, you reach the limit of the tyres before the bike or the bike. Mm-hmm. And if you're really lucky, you survive that and you remember that's the limit. Don't go to that point. But 9 times out of 10 on the road, you probably ain't going to survive that. So yeah, I think I'd have fun at some point, but it wouldn't end well. That would be my concern. It would be somewhere like some of the Spanish roads that I've ridden, or I'm frantically trying to remember the name of the road in the Canaries, Gran Canaria, there's just this stunning road through the mountains. Not the West Coast Road, but there's one through the mountains. Can't remember the road name, but it's phenomenal. But I know I would kill myself on that if I was to be doing that every day. You know, by myself, I would just push it and push it until it didn't end well. But you'd have fun. So is there any particular track you'd like off-road route?
I would probably say I'd live in somewhere like Andorra and live in one town and then have work in the other town, where you've got to ride your trials bike up over the mountain top and down to the other side. And because of the nature of that, you could pick your like goat route each day. I'd probably do something like that.
What is I know in Spain, obviously Spain's full of that, and Portugal's got that, lots of off-road tracks and stuff that you can use. What's the rest of Europe like in your experience? Are they as sort of pro off-roading as Spain and Portugal are?
I'm not that familiar. From what I hear, there's quite a lot of restrictions in a lot of places. So, I mean, even if you take Andorra, you're not allowed to really ride anywhere on an enduro bike anymore.
Right.
They've just cut it all down. Romania has just completely culled all off-road riding in the mountains.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that an environmental thing?
Possibly. Probably fun sponge. I don't know. It's going to be all kinds of reasons. It's probably this that's getting so popular and so many people are going, and it's starting to get a nuisance for the locals or for the environment or wildlife, etc. I just think that if we fast forward 10, 20 years, it's probably going to be a lot harder to roam as you can in some places now. Yeah.
Like I know in Spain, it's not you can go anywhere on a bike. You still have to stick to designated like fire roads or tracks. But there just seems to be
illegal to go on a track. Anything less than a meter wide is illegal in Spain.
Is that what it is?
From my
right.
understanding. Yeah. So a lot of the tracks that a lot of people ride isn't actually technical.
Okay. We'll draw a discreet veil underneath that one then.
Next question.
Yeah, got you. All received. Mike Walton, if you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume you had done? Oh, that's a good question, Mike. I think for me it would be they would assume I've done something on the bike. So speeding or being a dick, something like that. What about you?
I don't know. I think all my friends know I'm terrified of breaking the rules. I genuinely don't know. I want to ask now. Can I call a friend?
Of course you can. Yeah, for me,
I think I actually call someone and say I've just been arrested.
Yeah, what's it for?
What's it for?
Do it. Find out what they think. Ask them, what's the first thing that comes to mind? What would be the first thing you think I've been nicked for?
Let's just see if Emma answers her phone. She's not always one to answer.
No worries.
This is going to be quite entertaining. Come on, please answer.
I know.
Come on. It's not connecting. Maybe it doesn't mean it's a bad idea.
Yeah. Someone stepping in going, no, don't do that.
I've got someone else I can try. Gavin will be funny.
Okie dokie.
He's
Talk
normally
amongst
got his
yourselves,
phone.
people.
Yeah, sorry everyone. Should I put it on speakerphone? Or was that too brave?
If you want to.
No.
You better let them know they're on a podcast.
Yeah. Come on, answer your phone. He's going to be working. But he normally has his phone on him. No. Oh, it's not meant to be.
It's a sign.
He's going to remember that later.
I think in days of old, it would definitely have been alcohol related. Like my late teens and 20s, there was a lot of booze consumed, so people would definitely be thinking other things. But these days, yeah, it'd be something on the bike. Although I'm not a hooligan anymore. I think because I had my arse bent not bent, burnt. When I was in the old bills, when somebody complained about speed in my videos. So since then, I'm really conscious of it. So because I was generally always filming, I just don't speed much. It's certainly not the way I used to. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Why would I get nicked? I think it's something to do with the bike. That's probably why I'd get nicked.
Yeah, I genuinely
little goody
don't
two-shoes
know.
here.
Like, what do you get nicked for?
All
Like
manner of
killing
things.
someone? I wouldn't kill someone. Murdering, robbing,
But would
speeding.
you don't strike me as somebody that would answer back to the old bill anyway. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't. Do you have a mouth on you when you get stopped? Would you argue with the old bill?
No, probably not.
Okay. Speed? Do you speed?
Not excessively.
Yeah. What about on a night out? Can you handle your vodka or gin and tonics or alcohol of choice?
Yeah, I'm pretty well behaved. I'd never start a fight or anything like that.
So you just won't get nicked, would you? Do you import illegal drugs?
Oh, is drugs illegal? Yeah.
Are drugs illegal? No, a big pile of white stuff behind you. But if you're an angel, you're an angel. If it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. We'll draw a veil over that one, Mike. Next one, near enough the end here. Rob Biggers Bignell. Hi, Vanessa. How have you found the lockdown, and when we are out of it completely, where are you off to? We've kind of covered that, haven't we? Right at the start. Yeah. Paul Kingsford, could you do your own festival down south called Wild Bald Weekend? No, I'm not peeing on Dickie Vegas's his chips. I'm really looking forward to this year's Wild Bald Weekender. It's going to be awesome. So no, I won't be doing anything. I know TMF and Chops have spoke about doing something. I don't know if they've plans to do it or not, but they did chat about it initially. So watch this space. Philip Shard. Who was Vanessa's influence into motorcycling? We've covered this. Was it a family member or just something she wanted to try and get hooked? Keep the good work up, Bruce. Cheers, Philip. That was your dad, wasn't it, you said?
Well, no, because he was never really a biker. I just remember that he had one point he had a bike. I don't even remember ever seeing this bike. So my very first bike, I was 20 and I moved to the Bahamas for my work placement doing my undergraduate degree, and I couldn't afford a car, but I needed a way to get around the island.
Right.
There wasn't a bike on the island, but I just figured, I've never ridden one. How hard can it be? So I ordered one online. It arrived in a box. I'm not talking about a motorbike in a box. I'm talking about parts of what would be a motorbike in a box. So I kind of was a little bit freaked out. I didn't have mechanical knowledge back then, so traded a bottle of rum and a local bush mechanic put it all together for me. And I had this bike and I strapped my spear for spearfishing down the side and my fins and snorkel on the back, and I got around the island. But I never really saw myself as a biker. It was just like a practical thing that I needed to do. So when I came back to England, years and years went by where I didn't have a bike. I got my full license and just never had an interest. I didn't see myself as a biker. But then after the accident, that's when it started to become a thing. And the initial bike was a Suzuki Bandit 600 to commute because I was just battling traffic and parking and chaos on the roads. So got a Bandit, which was terrifying to get on after the accident, but I had to do it. And then that whole classic N+1 motorbikes breed kind of thing came about. But the big one is how I got into off-road, and whether it was my husband or whatever. It was actually me. I was lying bedbound after my first hip surgery, and to this day, I don't know where it came from. I just woke up one day and I was just like, can I get a dirt bike? My husband was like, what? Yeah. Okay. So he went out and got me an old Yamaha WR250, and we had it. It was 5 months till I could even sit on it.
Wow.
But it was there as a goal. And from there, I just got more and more obsessed with riding and getting better at riding, progressing my skills, hitting more technical stuff, etc.
Was Alex like an off-roader, or is that something he's followed you into?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
right.
followed. We've gone into it together. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So when we met, we both had our full licenses. He actually did his license a couple of months to the side of when I did at the same place down in Portsmouth. And then we
Oh.
both had our licenses because his dad is a biker.
Mm-hmm.
But we never had bikes until post the accident when it kind of just sort of happened.
Yeah. Oh, wow, it's crazy. And now it's like, I mean, that's pretty much your life now, isn't it, bikes? It's just all around bikes. Yeah. That's crazy,
Yeah.
The last one to finish on. Oh, it's my mate Mac. I might have guessed it was him. He said, single? Question mark? No, mate, no. He's a boy, Matt. He's ex-military as well. Right, that's us. We are done. That's all the questions. We've actually managed to cover all the questions. Good effort.
Wow.
So,
I love how wacky and wild and varied the questions have been.
Yeah. It's part of the reason I don't pre-read any of the questions, just because they can be so obscure, can't they? Sometimes they're quite hard to read, but they can be quite obscure, and they do make you think, don't they? They're not always down the line you think they're going to be about. So what's the rest of the day for you? What's planned?
I am going to put my kit on straight away, and we're going to take the Africa Twins out and get some mud on them for a couple of hours. And then I've got a public speaking event this evening, so I've got a 3-hour window to go get muddy.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for giving us a couple of hours of your time today. It's been lovely to chat with you again. And best of luck with the book deal.
Yes, thank you. Should be doing that, but I'm going to go right.
Well, you need to get motivation, don't you? Free the mind up a bit. Are there any shout outs you want to give? Any sponsor plugs that you need to give? Feel free. Time is yours. Over to you.
No, I'm just really appreciative of everybody's energy and, positive vibes and love towards what I do. So thank you. But if you don't follow me already, head over to my channel as The Girl on the Bike. That would be much appreciated. Join the journey.
Awesome. Well, folks, if you listen to the podcast, check out the show notes. If you're watching the video at the moment, look at the vid description. I'll put all Vanessa's social links down there, so make sure you give her a like, a follow, or a subscribe. All right, thank you very much, Vanessa. Thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. All the best with the event this evening. And folks,
thanks so much for being on.
No problem. Pleasure. Anytime. Folks, hope you've enjoyed this one. I've given up saying we're nearly out of this, because who knows? But as Vanessa says, keep the positive frame of mind, focus on the good, look after those that you love, get on out there whenever you can, and live your life. Woo-ha!